Hey Reed.
What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for taking the time to do this. I'm excited.
Sure. Me too.
I was basically all I know about you is from what I've stalked you on your Instagram, and so I know you love mule deer, and I know you love some geese and a little bit of Africa, and that's about all I know about you. So we'll let you kind of explain, kind of give your story, where it all began, where you grew up, and how you got into hunting, and we can just kind of go from there.
Okay. So I saw on your thing you guys like Alaska too. I actually have a boat in Alaska. I don't post a lot. So I have a boat in Alaska. And so I'm looking to buy a place in Soldotna. So I have friends that live up there. So my boat stays at their house. So we do halibut, salmon. Like, for example, this year in June, I'll be up there for almost 2 weeks. And then in July, I'll be there for 2 weeks. In
Oh,
August,
that's
I'll be
awesome.
there for 2 weeks. So, yeah, I saw you guys went fishing up there. So I want you to teach me about that too. But yeah, I fish a lot up there.
Awesome. And it's so you own a boat up there. Do you just use it for your own use then?
It's just for my own use. I have a 28-foot boat, and I have a buddy that lives in Wasilla. So I leave it at his house. And then they have a fish camp on the Kenai. So we do the flossing for reds. I don't know if you've heard of flossing for reds. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And then, we go to Homer, we go to Seward, and last year we found Valdez, and the silvers were crazy. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
So
It's incredible. Well, what an awesome place to yeah, have a boat set up. Goodness, that's the dream right there.
it is a dream. It's awesome.
No, that's amazing. So how like I mean, obviously this stuff is later on in a career usually. Like where'd you begin hunting? Like what did your beginning hunting life look like?
Yeah. So when I grew up, my dad hunted a little bit. Like my dad was from Fayette, Utah. And so every year we would go on the annual deer hunt. It was more of a kill for meat. Some years I'd shoot a doe, some years you'd kill a nice 4 point. My dad wasn't much of a hunter, but he knew I loved it.
Hmm.
And so he started taking me as a little boy. And then my grandma lived in Fayette. And so when I was 8 years old, my cousin that was 12 says, let's go duck hunting. So we went down and, right behind her house. The really cool part about my grandma, she was in her 70s, and there's a law, you have to have an adult with you.
Hmm.
Well, we kind of had this rule. She would walk out to the back pasture fence, and then we would hop the fence and go down in the meadow, and we counted that as supervised hunting. So
That's
basically, I
awesome.
was on my own, and so I spent so many weekends in Fayette because, let's just be honest, waterfowl hunting is a lot cheaper than big game hunting. And so I grew up waterfowl hunting like crazy. And then, all the way through college, I loved to hunt big game, but couldn't really afford it. And so I did tons of waterfowl hunting, still do. And, then I got out and I started to be a little more successful, and I started to hunt different states, and then my business took off, and then I started hunting a lot more. So, I've been to the Jicarilla in New Mexico 5, 6 times. I've been to Old Mexico, Colorado. I hunt all the time. We actually now have a place in Wyoming, um, which this is crazy. I get 2 landowner tags every year: 2 elk, 2 deer, 2 antelope. It's
Wow.
almost not fair
Oh my gosh.
because of the point system in Wyoming. I mean, even the residents don't draw, and we get two every year.
Just
And
for
so
owning land, is that like
you have to own the right amount of land, and then they have to do an assessment. The animals have to be on your property for a certain amount of days each year to qualify for a tag.
hmm,
So, but for the last, what, 10, 12, 15 years, 2 elk, 2 antelope, 2 deer every year. Now, the cool thing about Wyoming is different than Utah. In Utah, people can sell the tags.
oh
So
yeah.
you have these astronomical amounts. It goes up and up and up. And the blessing in Wyoming, blessing and a curse, right? So if you're a landowner that wants to sell the tags in Wyoming, you cannot sell the tags. It has to go to immediate family.
Hmm.
The blessing in that is the ranch we have is okay, but my neighbor's ranch is phenomenal. Well, he runs cows. So he runs cows on our ranch,
Uh-huh.
and in return, we hunt his ranch.
Oh, sweet.
So, and I'll be honest with you, in Utah, if that was the case, we would have been outbid a long time ago for access to his ranch.
Hmm.
But you can't do that. You can't sell your tags to the highest bidder. And so, and they actually have a thing they're trying to, push being able to sell landowner tags, which will end up messing me up. But I mean, you just enjoy it while you can.
Interesting.
Yeah, I started hunting more and more and more, and then all of a sudden, this mule deer thing. I don't know what happened. I have this crazy addiction. I love mule deer hunting. I mean, I love chasing mule deer, and I hope we're not through the good old days, because I've the last 25 years for mule deer have been really, really good. Then they took our trail cameras away, they took our baiting away, and they're doing all those things to us. But a big mule deer to me is still the ultimate thing. I'm not a sheep hunter, never have been. I went with Kalen Lemon me and Kalen and his dad went to Russia, and I shot a snow sheep, and the guides are all excited, jumping up and down. He's this old, and now I'm looking at it going, man, I don't even know if I should have shot that.
You're wishing it was a mule deer, huh?
Yeah, I brought it home, and Kalen's like, "Are you gonna mount it?" And I'm like, "I'm not mounting it. Why would I mount that? I'm gonna put it in my house. There's only mule deer room in my house." I says, "I'm gonna put it in my flower bed." And I was joking a little bit, but I have the skull in the house, but if Kalen ever comes to my house, I'm going to put it in the flower bed. So when he walks up, he sees it in the flower bed.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, that's how I started hunting. And then, I do have an addiction. A crazy story. When I met my wife, we were dating, and I told her I loved to hunt. Well, she grew up like I did. Her dad would go once a year on the mule deer hunt, and so she thought that was love to hunt. And then we got married, and she said to me, "You deceived me." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, No, you don't love to hunt. You live to hunt. In fact, the other day I had some people in here, they don't hunt. And they asked me, how much do I hunt a year? And my first response was, well, I don't hunt as much as I used to. She started laughing hilariously. She's like, "You're crazy." She says, "You duck hunted 3 days last week." And I'm like, "That's not a lot." Like,
oh man, yeah, no, that's something that I'm like trying to navigate, where I love to hunt, and I feel like I'm slowly getting more and more into it, but also trying to figure out how to keep my wife happy with all that. So maybe that is where I can ask you a question. How do you do that with your wife? Because does she ever go hunting with you, or
she does. She has, 200-inch mule deer are my passion. She actually has 2. So when we first started dating, I took her hunting, and we would, put straw on the ground and sleeping bags. I tried to make it fun for her. And she went just because of me. Then when we had kids, she slowed down. But she's been to Alaska. I took her to Alaska last year, and she actually liked flossing in the river for the salmon. And for me, my wife's figured it out. She's like, so if I get kind of ornery around the house, she'll be like, "Sir, can you go hunting or fishing or something?" She's told me, she says, "I've realized when you come home, you're happier. You're more settled. You're not, it's like, because I really like the outdoors. I just like being away from people."
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like people, but I'm also okay with my own time. And yeah, the wife balance thing, but my wife's been a huge blessing to my hunting, because she's realized that I need to go be outdoors. And like I told her, at least I'm not chasing women.
Yeah, true. It could be much, much worse.
It could be much worse. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing these things that are detrimental to our marriage, other than I'm away a lot. But so
that's interesting. So is it sounds like, one, she's just an awesome woman to start, but is it like a communication thing? Are you just good at like communicating, or did she just realize that the outdoors is your element, and so it's good for you to get that dose every now and then?
Yeah, when we were dating, I told her, I says, I love to hunt, and I would go a lot. And I think she thought maybe it would slow down when we got married, and I'm just like, no, this is what I do.
Yeah.
On the weekends, it's not just a one-time deer hunt. Like, it's a Colorado hunt, then a Nevada hunt, then a Wyoming hunt. Like, if I can line them up, I'm going.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She's always been pretty patient with me. So yes, I've been really lucky with that.
No, that's awesome. What's the business do you still own the business that you started a while back?
I do. So, I got really lucky. I started a business I graduated and I went to work and I was like, boy, to be honest, I don't like boundaries and restrictions, and I really hated having to call and can I have tomorrow off? Can I have next week off? That just caused me stress.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought I got to get out of here. So I started my own business, started consulting back where I worked. I worked for the federal government, and we didn't do real good for the first 6 months. My wife actually come to me one day and says, "You need to get a job." And I'm like, terrified. I says, "I got this. Like, just give me some time. I've got this. Just be patient with me." And, it all worked out. And then we've been very, very blessed is the right word. I don't think I'm smart enough or have the people skills to do what we've done. I think Heavenly Father just was very kind to me and knew that I needed more freedom. And so with that freedom I've been able to hunt more than I probably should have.
No, that's awesome. That's that's like really motivating and just inspiring to hear, because I'm a little business owner too, small business owner right now, nothing crazy, but yeah, I got the same mentality, and I just love to be outside, and that's kind of my dream, is being able to have that freedom to take me and my family out. So no, props to you for doing it. That's like, it's awesome.
Well, when you sent me the thing, I immediately went and looked up your Instagram and your YouTube, and I'm like, I like this. I love to see people succeed. I love to see people try things. And so I was excited for you, and you're young. And where are you from?
No, I appreciate that. We live in Springville, Utah right now. I'm from Southern Utah. We live in Springville right now.
Southern Utah. We're at in Southern Utah.
Circleville. It's a tiny town down there. I don't know how much you know.
It's on the Dutton. It's on the north end of the Dutton.
Yep. Hunted a lot on the Dutton and the Beaver. Lots of mule deer hunts down there. Yeah. So that's where I'm from, and it's just kind of in the growth phase right now, trying to build things and get to a point where we can do these fun stuff that it costs a little more money and take a little more time than usual. But so tell me, I know you love mule deer, so let's talk some mule deer. And you've been like everywhere mule deer hunting. I was looking and I'm like, it looked like every state you had been on a mule deer hunt. I mean, is there a favorite state you go to, or is it kind
of? I like 200-inch deer. So you tell me there's a 200-inch deer I can hunt, I'm going. Yeah. And I've been very blessed. When I first got into this big game hunting, I'm probably still not a very good hunter, but I've been blessed to be around a lot of really good hunters. So I've learned a lot. The first year I drew an elk tag, this hurts me to say, I had all these elk points, and if I'd had this mule deer passion, I would have had all these. I do have a lot of mule deer points now, and I'm saving them for the right hunt. But, my first elk hunt, I drew, and so all my friends were excited. They wanted to go, and you know how that goes. And then they get to come to the hunt. Well, can't get off work. And so I got worried about that. I was like, this is a once in a lifetime hunt. And it wasn't, but that's how I felt. So I hired Moss back. And so Doyle and I are really good friends. Doyle, Kalen Lemon, Jason Carter. I've had the chance to hunt with a lot of really, really good mule deer hunters. And so I've learned a lot about mule deer hunting from them, and what a blessing that was. And then, to be honest with you, I'll hunt with my friends. I'll hunt with my family. I'll hunt with a guide. If there's a 200-inch deer that I can chase, let's go hunt. And so, we lived through the heyday in Colorado. We knew where 200-inch deer were. Now they've died off. Utah still has some. It's not quite as good. The one state I haven't hunted that I would really love to hunt is Arizona. Probably never happen. I have friends that are guides down there, and so I'm going to probably at least spend some time glassing and helping other hunters, just because I need to experience the strip at some point. So, I just started to get into the big mule deer, and I heard about the Hickorea. Hickorea is awesome. They used to have this really cool rule. You had to send all the money up front, and you could transfer the tag.
Whoa, that's amazing.
So I would put in like 5 times, 5 people.
Yeah.
And whoever drew transferred the tag to me.
Wow.
And so I hunted like 6 years in a row.
Oh my goodness.
They changed the rule. And now you don't have to send all the money up front, which was a huge detractor for a lot of people. So now you just pay a fee and you can't transfer the tag, and there's a whole bunch of people that put in. So I haven't hunted the Hickory for a long time. Landowner tags in Colorado, I bought a lot of landowner tags in Colorado. Love hunting Colorado because they let you hunt clear through the rut in a lot of, they have second, third, fourth seasons. Love Nevada tags. Nevada's tough. There's not a lot of deer, but when you had trail cameras, if you're hunting and there's a big deer, I don't care if I see a deer today. There was a time I was hunting with Jason Carter, and we had probably 5 or 6 guys spotting, and we were hunting, and I think in 8 days we saw like 10 deer total. And I'm still excited because we had them on camera. We know they're here. Let's hunt. Yeah. Which is a lot different than just, somebody says, well, I want to kill a 200-inch deer, and they jump in their truck and they head to an open unit, and you're like, I don't know if there's a deer here or not.
Yeah.
So trail cameras changed the game. And, the cool thing about Nevada landowner tags is you can hunt the bow hunt, you can hunt the muzzleloader hunt, and you can hunt the rifle hunt. And so that drags it out for a long time.
Yeah, wow.
So, and then Wyoming, the landowner tags are crazy on our ranch. We had great mule deer. I know of 3 200-inch deer killed on our property, several 190s, and then you could always hunt 180s. We had a winter kill 5 years ago, and then another winter kill 2 years ago, and so it's been really tough for the last 3 years. We haven't really killed anything. We're just watching them come back. But what's sick about the Wyoming property is I have elk in every canyon. It's like
really,
or not giant, 280 to 340. 340 would be the big end, but they're just nice 6 points. So my boys kill a 6 point every year.
Wow.
And you could kill it in one day if you wanted. It depends how picky you are. So, yeah, but the mule deer thing, it's still a passion. It's still I don't know. My wife thinks it's an illness or an addiction. I call it a legal addiction.
Yeah, there you go. So tell me a little bit about your little hunting tactics, because obviously, trail cameras were huge when we could all use them. But now is it just being able to scout and glass before?
Well, you need to run your cameras. You got to run cameras till August 1st, because you got to know the deer are there, right? That changes the game for me. If I know there's a deer there, the excitement will never go away. I can hunt and not find them and I'm okay with that. And then glass. What I was taught. When I grew up, we just, in the old days, they did drives and pushes, and you had a pair of binoculars, but you never used them. And now, I think I own every binocular ever made, and I have every spotting scope ever made, and I love to glass. And watching my son grow up when he was 14, you take him and you're trying to teach your son to glass, and they look for a little while, and then they're like, well, I already looked at that. Look at it again. When he was, it was our first year in Wyoming on our property, and I glassed this buck up a long ways away, and he was moving. We come down, he bedded. And so we go around and we're glassing, and my son found him. You could just see his horn tips sticking up out of the grass. Dang. So he was addicted from that moment on. This is cool.
That'll do it.
Yeah, glassing is, you have to be a good glasser if you want to kill big deer. That's just the way it is. You have to know how to glass, and you have to be patient, and you glass, and then you glass again, and then you glass again. And I've been with a lot of people, and they'll glass for an hour and then they quit. And I'll change it up, right? I'll use my spotting scope one time. I'll use my 10s. I'll use my 15s. I actually have 12s now. And so, you just got to break it up, and you have to believe they're there as well. And so, you know this feeling. The first time in your life you glass a buck bedded, it's like, okay, the addiction begins.
It's incredible. Yeah, no, it's incredible. We had that happen this year. My younger brother on my dad's deer hunt, he glassed up a buck that was bedded down, and I could just tell he was stoked. He's like, oh my gosh, I just found that buck. That was awesome.
It is awesome.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
We also just started we tried out a buddy that was on the hunt with us. He brought his Swarovski BTXs. That was the first time we'd ever used those. Holy cow, what a game changer. To be able to sit there and scan an entire mountain. Is that like, what do you use? I know you said you use lots of binos, it sounds like. What else do you use?
Yeah, so I have BTXs, of course. And then I have some cows. They're the really big ones. I don't know if you've seen them. They look like
Oh,
they look like two spotting scopes.
okay.
They are so heavy. And so you've got to be close to your glassing point. So I have the big cows. I also have the BTXs, but I also have a little spotting scope that I put in my backpack. So I can go, so I carry 12s with me. I love 15s when I'm in the truck. Gosh, I just think, optics are one thing. You get what you pay for. And so when people ask me about that, it's like, buy the best pair you can afford. And, someday if you can buy Swarovski, you need to buy Swarovski.
Yeah.
And if, Vortexes are good. And if that's what you can afford, then get them. And I've looked at a lot of binoculars and talked with a lot of guys. The big difference is early in the morning and late at night. That's the time you see the biggest difference in your optics is in those, I don't know, I call it prime time, when it's just, this is it, we're going to find them right now. And so, yeah, gosh, I actually have a Leica spotting scope. I have a BTXs. I have a small Swarovski spotting scope. I have Rebic binoculars. I have Leica binoculars. I have Swarovski binoculars. That's the other addiction is glass. Like I have it all, and when something new comes out, it's like, And the last year, the 12s come out with the rangefinder in them. And I'm like, gotta have them. So I have them. And I have I have 12s without, and I have 12s with, and I have 10s. And so I have boys now. So they all have good binoculars because they use my stuff.
Yep. No, that's sweet. Yeah, you need to do a YouTube video and review every optic that's out there, it sounds like.
Oh, dude, I even bought the thermal. As soon as the thermal come out, I had it. Yes. And now you can't use it, but we had it. And it was so cool.
What kind of what brand are the thermals?
Man,
they're not a big name brand then. It's
no, they are.
They are.
Just don't remember because they took it away from us and we're not supposed to use them anymore. No, I spent a lot of money. They're good ones.
Yeah.
You can use them during the day.
Wow.
You can use it. Yeah, you use them during the day. What? It's crazy what you can find. And I know why I guess they took them away from us is you still got to be patient. It's not like they just jump out.
Yeah.
But, you do that white hot mode and we were chasing a big deer once, me and Kaylin, we found him in the dark and he runs over. So I went clear around, got in the blind. Anyways, we ended up killing that deer and thermal definitely helped us.
I bet. Yeah.
And in Wyoming, the snow is on the ground during the day. And so, you're just going across, all of a sudden, boom, it's glowing. So then you get your binos out. Oh my heck, there he is. I had the thermal. So
no, that's cool. That's cool to hear from somebody that's owned a lot of optics, what you guys like and what you use. So with all these different deer hunts, I'm curious, are deer's personalities the same in different states, or do they because I've noticed in Utah when I go, say I shoot a deer or I shoot at a deer and maybe I miss and I go after it, a lot of times they'll circle me. At least here in Utah, I've noticed that. I'll go and I'll think they're going to go up in a straight line, but they'll just circle and come right up behind me or something. Have you noticed, are the deer, do they act the same or are they different?
It's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. When we chase deer, a lot of times, I got one anomaly, but, a lot of times those deer come back the same place. So if I'm chasing a deer, when I go back next year, 90% of the time, he will be in the exact same canyon on the exact same day, almost feeding in the same spot.
Crazy.
Which is crazy.
It is crazy. What's something, because I know you said you've learned a lot from these hunters. What are some things you've learned through the years with mule deer that maybe some of us younger hunters or maybe that just don't get on as many hunts that we probably don't realize or learn? Sure, there's so much. You probably don't realize how much you know.
You know what I learned the most from those guys is how to grind. We talk about grinding, and I used to grind. You can go 10, 12 days and not see a deer as long as I know they're there. We can talk about that later because I have a son that doesn't love hunting, and so I don't want to grind when he's with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to kill a big deer, you got to learn how to grind. and you also got to be okay with not killing one. Like, I've killed so many animals the last day. Gosh, I'll tell you a story about my son. So my son was in high school. We go to Wyoming, and he's never killed a big deer, but he's killed a lot of deer. So we get there, and I glass this deer up, and I look at him, and I say, look, I'm going to show you this deer. We probably shouldn't kill it because it's a baby giant, but you're going to want to kill it. So let's look at it. So he looks at it, and he goes, I want to kill that deer. So it's got two inlines on the one side. It's got an inline on this side. So I'm just looking at him, and he tells the story funny. He says, yeah, all right, well, let's think about it. And he says, my dad gets out, and he slams the truck door. He's like being really slow because, I want him to kill it. It's like, it's your decision, son. But I didn't want him to kill it. So long story short, the deer takes off. He runs straight to us and stops 200 yards away. So like, well, whatever. So he shoots him, and he's 190.
Wow.
But he's a baby giant. Like, he would have been big. So, all right, let's fast forward that year. So Doyle Moss calls me, and he says, Reed, I've got this tag on the Ponsagant. The guy backed out or something. He says, do you want it? And I'm like, not really. But, I don't want you to get stuck with the tag. So I says, try to sell it. And if not, so he calls me back. He says, Reed, I have this tag. He says, you know what? I have an Airbnb rented. You can stay with us. We'll feed you. I said, all right, I'll buy the tag. So my son, he's probably, I can't remember if he's 18 or 19. Same year that he killed the buck in Wyoming.
Okay.
So we go down there and we're hunting, and Cameron Moss actually jumps in with us, and we're hunting. We have a good time all week. We've hunted 8 days. There's only 2 more days in the hunt. So we've seen some good bucks, but it's all of a sudden, my son's now all of a sudden decided he's a trophy hunter. So I had to run home and watch my other son play football, and I come back, and it's Saturday, and I don't hunt on Sunday. So Saturday night, the sun's going down. We have maybe a half hour left, and we find a buck. Jade tells me on the radio, Dad, we have this buck. He's probably 180. He's got some little kickers. What do you think? And I'm like, the sun's down, son. Like,
yeah,
I think you better kill this deer.
Probably go for it.
He goes, I'm not going to shoot it. And I'm like,
oh no.
So he doesn't shoot it.
Oh my goodness.
So he gets to the truck, and he says, I want to hunt tomorrow. And I said, that's fine. I says, I don't hunt on Sunday, but I support you, and I'll stay and I'll glass, and let's hunt Sunday. He kills a 207 buck Sunday morning about 11:30. Okay, now I have a trophy hunter that he's all in. And now I'll go back to my story. I don't think he would have been able to wait 9, whatever days it was. We hunted every day of the season if he wouldn't have killed the buck in Wyoming. But that set it for him. It's like, no, I'm good. If I don't kill one, I'm okay with it. And so he kills a 207 buck the last day. And so, he kills the 180 buck. We'd have been happy, but he wouldn't have a 207 buck. So you have to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to kill this buck. And if I don't get one, my ego's not hurt. I'm okay. I'm good. Let's get on with life. So,
yeah, it's like a high risk, high reward thing. Just like,
for sure. But, to each his own. I have another son that played rugby at BYU, and he played, he loved football. And so he's just getting into hunting. And so when we go to Wyoming, we have a rule. If you see it and you want to shoot it, we're going to shoot it. Don't care score, don't care nothing. Because for him, if I took him and if we grind it, he would never hunt again. He'd be like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. So for him, it's more about being out there. And so for our Wyoming property, it's fun as a family because we just have a rule. I'm not going to kill what I don't want to kill, but they can kill whatever they want.
Yeah.
We'll all be happy. And so we do that with the elk. There's bigger elk, but every year, we find an elk, they want to hunt it, we hunt it.
That's awesome. So this Wyoming ranch, how long have you owned it?
12 to 15 years.
Okay. And is that something that you were always looking forward to doing, or did it just kind of, that opportunity arose when you could afford it? Or was that always your guys'?
The Wyoming ranch has been such a blessing. So I have a buddy, and he hunted. He used to buy tags in Colorado, and the guy in Colorado needed some help when he had a giant ranch, like 25,000 acres, and he says, "Hey," he says, "I'll sell you guys 5,000 acres for this much money, and then hopefully I can pay you back in several years." And we're like, "Okay, we'll do that." He says, "I'll let you make a little bit." So we owned the ranch for a while, and then time comes, he says, "You know what? I can't buy it back." So we sold it because it was so far away. I don't think we hardly ever hunted it. And so, we had all that money sitting there, 1031, and my buddy had also hunted with a guy in Wyoming. And the guy in Wyoming called and says, "Hey, I have this ranch. It's really cheap." So they have these tax laws. If you die, the IRS wants their money within a certain amount of time. Well, if you don't have enough cash, you have to pretty much fire sell your stuff. So we bought this ranch really, really cheap.
Dang.
And my buddy calls, says, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I didn't really realize how good a hunting it was. And if you drive by in Wyoming, sometimes you're like, "Well, I'm not sure there'd even be animals there."
Really?
When you go there, there's sagebrush on the one hillside and there's trees on the other side. But these ranches have water everywhere. And so there's animals everywhere. And so it just kind of fell into place. And it's been like one of the best things I ever did. And it was relatively cheap when you talk about ranch properties.
I bet it was.
The key part was the neighbor's ranch is really good. And so the guy that I'm partners with, he's an outfitter in Wyoming. So he controls like 5 or 6 giant ranches around this ranch. And so it just kind of makes it even more special to have a partner that is local, knows all the people, just understands the politics of the area.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's awesome. That's something I've been thinking of as of recent, how cool it would be to own a property wherever that you can take your family and hunt on it, and also just have a place to go if you want to get out of the norm. You can go escape the world. So yeah, that's awesome. What's the Africa story? Was that your first time going? I saw in your posts recently, or?
No, I've been twice. So I actually go to Africa a lot. I do humanitarian projects for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, awesome.
So I do clean water projects as a missionary. So I always wanted to kill a Cape buffalo. So a long time ago, I took my whole family. So I'm really a family guy.
Yeah.
So when I went, we went to Zimbabwe, and I took my wife and my 2 little boys. They were 9 and 11 at the time. And it was amazing. Africa is amazing if you've never been there. So I'm going to be really honest with you. I loved hunting the Cape buffalo. Plains game to me wasn't, I don't know. I like mule deer. And so, you show me an impala and I'm kind of like, am I at the zoo or?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to kill it. I want my son to kill a leopard. So we went, gosh, it's been 2 or 3 years ago. So we were supposed to go run them with dogs, and something didn't happen. So we baited them, and we get done, and the only thing my son shot, he shot a kudu and a giant warthog.
Oh, cool.
And the guy goes, "You are the least trigger happy people I have ever had here in my life." And I'm like, "I know, because we want to kill a leopard. We want to kill a leopard."
Yeah.
And so we hunted every night. 2 nights the leopard came. This leopard was so wary. When they'd hit him with the light, they usually don't do this, he was gone.
Wow.
And so we didn't get a leopard, but it was amazing. The warthog was amazing. The kudu was amazing. And we're going back. In fact, we're already booked to go back and do it with dogs. So we were supposed to go to Venezuela 5 or 6 years ago. Kalen Lemon and his dad and me were going. So they actually sent the dogs to Venezuela. We're going to hunt jaguars. So they know a guy that has this giant ranch that has jaguars, that kill the cows.
Okay.
And so we submitted all our paperwork for visas, and Wade Lemons gets approved, and me and Kaylin, I don't know, we got denied for some reason. So we didn't get a go. And now with the turmoil down there, I don't know when we get a go, but to me, that would be really fun too. But chasing those big cats with dogs sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So hopefully I get to do that someday. But I do love Africa. I love the people. If you've never been to Africa, it's so, I don't know, remote, vast, expansive, beautiful, has everything. It's wild. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just crazy. I love Africa.
Which part of Africa do you go to? Is it just Zimbabwe then, or where do you go?
Yeah. So, when I do the humanitarian stuff,
I guess both. Yeah, both the
Oh,
humanitarian and
humanitarian,
the
I've been everywhere from the north. I've been to Mali, Mozambique, Mali, Siberia or Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and then on the south, Mozambique. I've been to Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, Malawi, Zambia, Swaziland. I mean, I've been all over. Hunting, I've only hunted Zimbabwe, but I think we're going to Botswana for the leopards. I'm not exactly sure. I don't really care. Tell me where the leopards are. I will go there. It's kind
yeah.
of like deer. You have a big deer in Idaho? Okay, let's go to Idaho.
No, that's so cool. The whole Africa trip, that's also on the bucket list, and trying to figure out where to go because yeah, I don't know where. I know there's just so many different. I mean, it's huge. Obviously, Africa's massive, but it sounds like yeah, you find out where your animals are and you just go there.
Do your research. Okay, so I'm not a big high fence guy. The high fences are good. I mean, they're when I say high fence, they're 200,000 acres, so I'm not sure that counts as high fence.
Hmm.
But in Zimbabwe, where we were, so the first time I went, we were on the Limpopo River, and so the animals were in Kruger National Park, which is in South Africa.
Okay.
At night, the animals would leave the park, come into Zimbabwe, go to the farmers' fields, and then go back. So every morning we would cut tracks on the Limpopo River looking for a Cape buffalo that came across and didn't go back. And so then we were hunting free range animals, and it was tough. Like I only saw one buffalo, which we ended up killing. And then last year when we did the leopard, we were in Zimbabwe, and it's a giant, it's like a national park. It's a reserve. It's controlled. Yeah. It's 1 million acres.
Wow.
And so, but do your research, ask questions. There's so many people that have been that they will be able to get you once you know your target animals. It's very easy to find people that can steer you in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay. Is it so? Do most hunters go to the free range then, or like, is there a preference among most hunters?
No, I think a lot of people they just go to Africa, and they just, if you go to South Africa, it's probably a high fence.
Okay.
But like I said, they're big. 200,000 acres. I don't know if you consider that high fence because the animals they can get away. You might never see them again. So
yeah. Gotcha. Oh, cool. So the leopard hunt with it was your son, just you and your son?
Yeah.
Was that the night ones where you sit there at night?
Yeah, it was when you sit there at night.
Was that not terrifying?
At first you're kind of nervous, right? Because sometimes they'll come right by your blind.
Wow.
And you're like, if they, I don't know. Yeah, no, maybe.
I mean, you've got your guide there too, I guess, right by you, probably that's got experience in Zoom, but
it's a long night. I mean, it can be long. It's a patience thing. Leopards is not easy, and then sometimes it's easy, but for us, it's not been easy. Like we think we hunted that leopard. It's kind of fun hunting leopards because you get up in the morning, and so you go check your baits.
Okay.
And you restock your baits, right? More impala, more zebra, whatever, you're hanging stuff, and then you're also checking for tracks. It's kind of cool because after you're done checking for tracks, you drag it, right? So you know that when you come back the next day, is that a new track? Because if you've drug it. And they also do drags. You drag the bait behind your truck for a ways to get to the bait. So if the animal finds it, the leopard will follow it to the bait. And then you look at tracks, you're like, well, there's this is a female leopard, and I'm like, I don't know the difference, but they do. Yeah. And so, gosh, you really enjoy it. It's just the whole experience and being with the people, and they treat you like kings. Like you have these meals are amazing, and your sleeping conditions are amazing, and even if it's in a tent.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you stay at like a lodge or is it the tent style?
Well, so that's a funny story. So we get to go the first time, and I told my wife, oh, they have these nice lodges, and so we get there and we're in a tent.
Oh, no.
And she's not happy. And so we get there, and I'm exhausted, and your time clock's different. So the first night we're so tired we go to sleep. Well, the second night she goes, you hear that? I'm like, I gotta go to sleep. I said, yeah, I hear it. It's a small animal. It's walking around the outside of our tent.
Oh my.
And she's like, what is it? She thought it was like a howler. She thought it was like a, I don't know, you could hear these howler monkeys, and she thought it was a hyena.
Okay.
It says, it's small, honey. I can hear it. It's only rubbing the bottom of the tent. It's probably a monkey. So I said, I have got to get up in a few hours. Like, we got to go to sleep. She elbows me. There's two of them. I'm like, I know, but they're small. Like, there's only a flap on the tent. It could come in. And the boys are in another tent. She's worried about them. And we're only 50 yards from a watering hole on the river. So in the night you can hear lions and elephants. It was really cool. So I roll over. She elbows me again. Where's your gun? I says, it's over there by the door. And I rolled back over. She elbows me again and says, go get it. And I said, what? She says, yeah, go get it. And I'm like, so I get up and I says, well, I better go check on the boys. She goes, forget the boys, save your wife. No, she didn't really say that, but that's how I like to tell the story.
That's
and
funny.
my boys are adopted, and I always tell the story. We can get new boys. They're adopted. We'll just get two more.
Oh my gosh.
Either, but that's how I tell the story.
That's funny.
It was a monkey, and it was like yeah. And I come back one day from hunting, and I walk in, and in Africa, you have a tent, but we're talking a big tent. Like, you have a bed, you have a dresser, you have chairs, you have a table. Like, it's like, and the suitcases are tipped over, the dresser's out. I'm like, geez, are you okay? And she goes, I saw a snake.
Oh
my
gosh.
I'm like, well, you probably better calm down. He's probably been here all week. You're probably upsetting the snake. She didn't like that. She hates snakes.
Oh, man.
So we call the guide over, and the guide's like, what did it look like? And she tries to explain the snake. And I tell a funny story about that. But he goes, well, it's probably a sand snake, but could be a puff adder. Watch your step. So that night, every night in the past, I'd have to get up in the middle of the night and walk my wife to the bathroom, right? So that night, she didn't move. Just.
She's like, I'll hold it.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, I should have sold her the snake the first night. And then I slept a lot better. That makes her mad when I tell that story, because my wife hates snakes. Like, they were walking one day with the boys, and the guy she was walking with says, hey, we got to go back. And she says, why? She says, see that track right there? That's a mamba. And she says, they hunt us. And so anyways, yeah, what's crazy is we saw mambas, I've saw cobras, I've saw puff adders, but
dang, what a wild experience. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's fun. Africa's a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to go, and I want to hear about it when you go.
Cool. No, I'll keep you posted for sure. Do you go, you said it's Zimbabwe is the place you went to hunt. Would you go back to the same lodge? Like, was it somebody, like, how did you decide where to stay? Was it just random?
No. So when you find your outfitter, they'll take care of everything.
Okay.
Like, you show up, they pick you up at the airport. They take, well, at least the way it worked for me, they pick you up, they take care of you, they handle everything. And like, it's just first class treatment the whole way when I've been to Africa. And I think it's the norm.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. So I don't want to take too much longer of your day. I'm like, this has been really fun. Tell me your why you hunt. I feel like you touched on it a little bit when we started, but like, what's your why that you get out there?
Gosh, I love the beauty of it. I love the outdoors. I love the peace. I don't want to say I don't like people, but I like my own time. I love the outdoors. Like, when I go to Alaska, like, people like, I love to catch the fish. Don't get me wrong, but I'll be honest with you. I like the smell. I like the side of the port. I like backing my boat in the water. I like driving my boat out into the ocean. I like the sea lions. I like the otters. I like the seals. I like the mountain goats. I like the scenery. Same way with, we do a lot of work at Dugway Proving Grounds. And if you drive from Lehigh to Dugway, some people would call it a desert. But to me, it's beautiful. Like, it changes. And, here in a few months, it's going to be green.
Yeah.
And gosh, Utah we have deserts, we have mountains. And I think the desert's beautiful. I think the mountains are beautiful. I just like being out in nature. And, I probably feel closer to my Heavenly Father there. Don't get me wrong. I love to go to the temple, and I feel close to him in the temple, and I feel close to him at church, but I also feel close to him when I'm in his creation. And so, and to share that with my family and friends, God, I'll tell you a funny story about mule deer. My wife has 200-inch mule deer as well.
Yeah.
And so the Henrys was the place for a while. And so she drew. And the year before, there had been a story in Hunting Fool magazine, and the lady said she froze. So I walk in, I tell my wife, we won the lottery. And she's like, what? I says, you drew the Henry's deer tag. Her shoulders went just like this. They slumped, and she goes, I did. And so then I says, well, it sold at the auction for 60 grand. She goes, can I sell it? And I'm like, no, I can't sell it. And so we go to the Henrys to hunt, and she was so worried about being cold. We got so blessed. So anyways, the day we killed her buck, she killed a 200-inch typical. It's bucks. And this is the funny part of the story. We hike down, we get over to the buck, and she's leaning across this rock to shoot it. And I look down, and the scope's like right here. And I'm like looking at this rock thinking, okay, it's going to kick her. It's going to cut her head wide open, right?
Yeah.
This is going to sound really bad. In my mind, I thought, shut up, kill the deer. We'll stop the bleeding. So luckily the deer walks over a little ways away, and then she shoots it and kills it. But I told her after, and she's like, you what? You were going to let me cut my head open? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to kill that deer and we'll stop the bleeding. Everything will be okay.
Oh, man.
But, to be with my wife in the outdoors and my children and my boys, like, gosh, when I hunt with my boys in Wyoming, like it's heaven to me. Like all the world's stresses, the stress of business, the stress of life, they're just gone for that 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 2 hours, whatever. You're riding around with your boys, drinking Pepsi, eating beef jerky, and spitting sunflower seeds. Like, I don't know. It doesn't get any better than that. So
Yeah.
That's my why. What's your why?
Honestly, it's very similar. Yeah, I'm the same. I love the outdoors. It's definitely my element. It's almost like a refresher. I feel like when you said earlier that your wife noticed when you get back, you're probably more alive and more yourself. I feel the same. Yes. It really does just wipe all the stress away. And I was talking to a guy last week, and it was cool. He was saying how when he's out in the outdoors, he feels like he realizes how big the world is, and it makes him realize how big God is and how vast everything is, and it kind of just opens him up to God that way too. And I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I definitely grow closer to God while I'm out there. I don't know, it's like the simplest way of living out there, but it's also like God's greatest creation. So it's amazing. I love it.
So I saw you go. Did you catch an octopus when you were up in Alaska?
Yeah.
Was that normal, or was that you just caught it?
No, so we actually caught it in his crab trap. Yeah, and so and I think it's pretty common in his traps. You don't catch him on a line like very often, I don't think. But yeah, we went with a buddy that one of my friends was working out there, and he knew a local that had a boat, and he took us fishing, and it was like a blast. And yeah, he had a bunch of crab traps too that he went and checked, and yeah, there were a couple octopuses in them, and it's just like so cool. I wasn't expecting to see an octopus when he pulled it up, but yeah, so that's how we caught that.
Last year we tried something new. So my buddies knew how to catch squid.
Okay.
So we were in Valdez, and he says, hey, he had hired a guide. He lives up there, but he'd hired a guide to show him how to catch them. He says, I think there's squid here. So he had bought the right stuff. So we go down, and I'm not real excited because I'm a salmon guy. I love catching salmon. So me and my other buddy were kind of like, oh, whatever. So we're jigging at 500 feet.
Wow.
All of a sudden he catches one, and then I caught one. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So we caught these squid. They're probably like this big.
Oh my goodness.
And they taste wonderful.
Really?
We caught 57 that day. And we caught a limit of salmon, a limit of squid, and so that's why the octopus intrigued me, because I love eating them, but I love eating the squid too. So it was like, I just like to catch stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, it's incredible. I've only been up there one time, and we were in Juneau is where we were. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I cannot wait to go again, because Alaska was, my wife and I have been to a couple pretty cool places with her work. And I mean, Alaska was like probably the prettiest place I've ever been. It was incredible.
All right, I'll give you a homework assignment. Go look up flossing on the Kenai River. It's called flossing, like you floss your teeth.
Yeah.
These fish run up the river, and they're close to the bank. So you let your line out 10 feet, you use a fly rod, and you just flip it. And you just move across, you flip it. You don't cast and reel. And, you know, these 10-pound fish will hit right at your feet. Like I'm talking right at your feet.
Dang.
So you need to look up flossing on the Kenai, because I'm buying a house. So someday we'll have to go. I got to find the right place, but I'm going to get one. I just already know. Yeah, I have another addiction. This salmon fishing is an addiction. It's probably as bad as mule deer.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'll do the research, and yeah, I'll let you know what I think. Well, hey, I really appreciate you jumping on. This was fun. Yeah, hopefully it didn't take too much of your time today, but yeah, I'm like super excited. I'll have to get some pictures and stuff from you to post on here while we're talking. When I post the video, it'll be fun.
I can send you a lot of pictures. I have 21 mule deer, over 200. My wife has 2, my son has 2, and I have 17. So yeah. I can send you whatever you need. Send me your phone number. We can start texting back and forth, and we'll stay in touch. I live in Lehigh, so I'm not very far from you. Awesome.
Sweet. Sounds good. Well, hey, thanks, Reed. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Okay. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.